Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the Voice of AUSMUN. My name is Maria Ali Asghar and I'm the Deputy Director of Media for AUSMUN 2026, and we're here with the one and only Sanjana Bharwani, who's the Director of External Relations. Hi Sanjana, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I've been watching this podcast very keenly for the past year, and I'm finally excited to be on the couch here with our Deputy of Media.
Thank you so much for being here. How has the semester been treating you?
It's been going well. I have my 6 courses to do because of a minor that I chose.
6 courses, wow.
Yeah, 6 courses with MUN and with Student Council. It's been going pretty well. I can't complain, to be honest. I think I'm enjoying the 6 courses more than I did with the 5 courses. I don't know how that's happening, but yeah, it's going well so far.
That's really good. Yeah. So, okay, let me ask you about your MUN journey. How did your MUN journey start?
So my first MUN that I participated as a delegate was in my freshman year of university, when it was basically like a MUN hosted by the University of Birmingham. It's called the Alex MUN.
Okay.
And that's when I was a delegate for the first time. And then that year also is when I participated in AUSMUN as an ER organizer.
Okay.
And for the past 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025, I've been part of the organizer team. And in terms of the delegate experiences, also included conferences like the GQMUN in Qatar and the NMUN in New York. So there's been a lot of varied experiences in terms of both delegate as well as organizer. And I think this year when I got the opportunity to be director, I feel like I had so much experience, so much to bring to the table in terms of, let's do this, let's do this. So I'm very excited for this year's conference.
Wow, I mean, your experiences sound amazing. So tell me what the process was like when you were applying for organizer and delegate for AUSMUN in particular, but also for the other MUNs, because you were in New York MUN as well and in Qatar. So what was that process like?
So when I first applied as organizer in my freshman year, you have your list of roles in the Google form that you apply to. So what I did was I looked at all the roles that were there, and ER interested me the most because I love talking to people. I love talking to people. So there was a role that caught my attention the most. I'm like, okay, khalas, let's apply.
Yeah.
I applied. I went through that year. I really enjoyed that experience. And then it included a lot of trial and error in the sense that, okay, in my second conference, I then applied as deputy, then didn't get through, but then I still wanted to really do it, so then I applied as organizer, and then again applied as director in my third year, then deputy, then organizer. But I feel that whole process, I feel, never goes to waste, because just that interview process of having to sit in front of another fellow student and having to experience that interview format, I think that experience never goes to waste. Because I feel this year when I gave my interview for director, I knew everything that I've done in the past 3 years, and I knew what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do. And even in my interviews for delegate for GQMUN and NMUN. GQMUN I went to when I was in my sophomore year.
Wow, okay.
So it was my first international AUS trip. So I was, and to be honest, I just applied with a very open mind. I saw the application and I'm like, okay, let's apply. I didn't expect to get the interview. I didn't expect to get selected. I didn't expect to go. But then when I went and when I experienced it for the first time, it was really eye-opening in the sense that it was the first time I was representing AUS on an international platform in front of so many different universities that came from the region. Even NMUN, for that matter, we were the only university from UAE, which I think puts us as AUS, it puts a lot of responsibility that, you have to represent AUS, which is representing a much bigger country. So I think it's been a very rewarding journey, a lot to see, a lot to learn. And I think it's just helped me understand more about myself as well. So yeah, that's about it.
That's amazing. Is there one experience that you feel like was your favorite out of all of these MUN experiences that you've had?
Yeah, I think I'll tell you from a delegate point of view and an organizer point of view. So from a delegate point of view, I think the first time when I went to an MUN was a very it was a daunting experience because, you know, having been born and brought up in the country, we haven't really stepped out and, you know, lived on our own in another country, even if it was just for a week.
Yeah.
But like, you know, just that first experience of having to live like, you know, separate from what you're usually used to. It was scary because, like, you know, everyone in my family was also getting paranoid that, oh, you know, like, what about your food? What about you know, the conference and the preparation and and as a vegetarian, obviously they were more concerned.
Yes, yeah.
So I think that was one experience which taught me a lot, in the sense that, oh, you know, oh, this is how it is to, you know, be alone for that period of time.
Yeah.
Or, you know, to have to manage some things or like make some decisions independently, like because you can't ask everything on text, you know. Some things you have to just decide on your own, on the spot. So that was one experience that really taught me a lot. And then when I went this year, it was just so much easier because I knew my way around. I knew what to do, what not to do, what to carry, what not to carry. So that was in terms of the delegate experience. Now, from the organizer point of view, I think 2 years back when I was part of the sponsor team, I was really motivated and really encouraged to, like, you know, contact as many sponsors as possible, cold call, cold email. I'm telling you, I spent my entire winter break, just calling and emailing companies.
Oh my
God. It was all, I'm telling you, that entire winter break, my parents were so concerned of why, like, what, like, who are you calling every day? Like, I'm making 10 phone calls in the entire day. Like it almost looked like I had a job in PR, you know, which wasn't the case. But like, I don't know, I was just so encouraged to do it because, like, I could see the outcome coming, even though there were rejection emails coming, but I was like, okay, at least they're not ghosting me.
Yeah.
At least they're replying, you know. And like that always left like the room that, oh, okay, you don't want to do it this way, how about we do it this way? So that always like brings that negotiation skill. And I think that database of sponsors that I worked hard to make, I'm using them today as director. So even though at that time, then, you know, they rejected or they said, oh, it's too short notice or we're not ready now, I'm calling them 2 years later and I'm like, do you remember me? Are you ready to come in now? So I think that is something from an organizer perspective that I really...
That's actually really interesting. I think we all, like, as directors and deputy directors, we learn a lot from AUSMUN.
Yeah.
I think being a part of this team really, like, teaches you to interact with people and to, you know how to present yourself in front of other people. So I completely understand. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
We're going to put you in the hot seat.
Okay.
So you have to, whatever answer comes, you have to say it really fast. Okay. So what is the one word that comes to your mind when you hear AUSMUN?
Just students, like, you know, delegates, like the fun. I know you said one word, but like it's okay. Like when you say something like that, like there's like an explosion that, you know, oh, there's this and this and this. But I think I'll just say like passionate delegates. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah,
I like that. Biggest conference day fear?
That main plaza will be empty on social night. That's my biggest, especially as ER. That's like the biggest fear that I could have. That, you know.
I don't think that's going to happen. Let's hope that's not going to happen.
Let's hope that's not going to happen.
Please show up, guys. What's the first thing you'll do after the conference ends?
I'll just thank all our partners because, you know, it's I understand how much you know, our partners put in, whether it's financial resources, whether it's any other resources, time, value, money, to be able to come to the conference and, you know, be there for us.
Yeah, of course.
So I think the biggest thing as ER especially is to maintain that relation, that, you know, they call that after sale service.
Yeah.
So I think that is a very big thing that needs to be maintained so that we can get them on for future conferences.
Of course.
So I think I'd call all of them after the conference and be like, were you satisfied? Were you happy? Is there anything we can look forward to next year? Anything we can be careful for next year? So yeah.
I like that. Okay. So what's one thing about MUN that people overthink too much?
That, oh, it's like an extremely formal affair and, you know, you have to be prim and proper at all times, which you do have to. But in the sense that I think people forget that, you know, they're at that age where they also need to network or also need to connect with the people around them. Like for me, the past conferences that I've been to, I'm still in touch with all the delegates that I was in that room. Even though they are like, even though now they're in like different parts of the world, I still follow them on Instagram. We still reply to each other's stories. We still check up on one another. Maybe
That's
not
nice.
like everyone, maybe like once in like few months. But you know, that connection that you made with them at that point, that is something that you can never underestimate.
That is very true. I agree with that. One thing about MUN that people underestimate.
The preparation. Whether from a delegate point of view or whether from an organizer point of view, the amount of preparation that goes into those 3 days of the conference. Because if you look at from a delegate point of view, you need to have your research ready, you need to have your readings done, you need to know what are the countries that are going to be part of your committee, because especially in terms of the MUNs that we have in our region, it includes a lot of negotiations that happen. And people do tend to, like, you know, say that, oh, your country did this or your country did this. But you should be able to know that, like, I feel the important part is for you to not engage in a debate, but to engage in a negotiation. That, okay, like, you know, we did this, you did this is how we can resolve it, or this is how we can move forward with it, you know. So I feel that preparation, that readings, like you cannot be in the position to speak if you haven't done those, because you won't have any prior knowledge.
Agreed.
And even from the organizer perspective, like to prep for the conference, the location, every small detail from water to the food to the committee sessions to the country matrix, there's just so much to prepare and so much to do. So I think preparation is what people underestimate.
Agreed. Okay, last question. What is your coffee order during conference week?
During conference week, it's usually something that can like instantly wake me up. So it's usually like, I wouldn't say an espresso, but like a cappuccino or something. Like nothing too sweet, but also something strong enough to wake me up. Because like especially as here, you need to be like zip zap zoom around the plate. So yeah.
I will say I like sugary drinks more, so I don't agree with this, but I understand the thought process behind it. Okay, moving on. What does your department do, and why is it essential to the conference?
This is what everyone asks us, what does your department do? Because on the day of the conference, because like our main day is the second day, which is the social night, everyone asks us, what do you do on the first day and third day? Because like, you know, we're just patrolling, we're walking around. But the department is of such nature that it involves a lot of previous work. That's why as director, my work started as soon as I was recruited as director. My deputies' work started as soon as they were, like, you know, recruited as the deputies. And even with the organizers, like when we had our first meeting is when we gave them their first task. Because the nature is such that you need a lot of time, a lot of preparation. Especially, so like there are 3 main departments, so as to say. My first deputy is handling the sponsors and speakers. The second one's handling vendor and conflict management. And the third one is managing local and international delegates. So all these 3 roles are something that cannot be done on the day of the conference. It needs to be done prior. So even for all the outreach that needs to take place, we've already sent the first batch of emails before the organizers even came on board. So when it comes to your speakers, and our sponsors, these are something that the emails were already sent out. The cold emails have already started, cold calls have already started. We've started talking to, you know, the warm contacts that we have, whether that comes from our organizers, from my side, from my deputy side. So that point of contact that has already been established, and you know, that relationship is being built for them to come to the conference. When it comes to our vendors and conflict management is something that we manage internally. We have peer mediation trainings for our entire team, so that in case there is a conflict that breaks out during the conference, we know as a team what to manage, how to manage it, and like, you know, reduce it as much as possible. When it comes to vendors, again, the same thing. It's about contacting them, convincing them that, oh, you know, you have such a big audience to serve when you come to AUS, and this is why you should come to AUSMUN. You're going to have 1,100 delegates coming in. And when it comes to local and international delegates, local delegates, of course, is what makes up majority of our delegate body. But when it comes to international delegates, that's something that we just begun 2 years ago. And the number has been increasing over the past 2 years, and we have a much larger target this year, naturally. All I can say is that every day I learn with my team as well, because there are so many things that, you know, I might have not done that I'm doing now. So there's so much to learn along the way.
Okay, so how do you collaborate with other departments?
So since there's not much collaboration with other departments in the sense that which requires like daily communication, but of course there are small things. For example, we're currently working on a position paper competition for international delegates.
Nice. Okay.
So this is something that was initiated last year, and we're continuing it on this year. So last year was catered to both local and international. This year it's catered to only international, which will involve us sending like a case and to the international delegates, and they'll basically write a position paper based on it and send it back to us. So this is something that requires a lot of help from research, especially because to make the case, to make the readings and everything. So that is one way we collaborate with research. Logistics is usually our best friend because we have a lot of things to talk about, things to collaborate on, especially when it comes to safety and security, because they have a much larger team, and usually we work very closely with them, especially when it comes to security for social night and gala dinner, because these are events where we have so many people together. We have almost 1,200 people together, because we have your delegates, you have your advisors, you have your ER, as in the AUSMUN team in itself, the faculty. We invite a lot of members from different departments within AUS also, so it is a very big crowd. So a lot of scope for things to come up. So logistics is usually our best friend when it comes to collaboration in terms of safety and security, in terms of managing things around campus, especially on the day of the conference. We usually have a lot of collaboration with them. In terms of media, of course, in terms of all the booklets that we make, our invitations, whether to the local delegates, international delegates, the sponsors, the vendors, to all the people that we invite, our speakers. Media is our best friend over there, especially when it comes to taking our pictures, any sort of reels that need to go up, any sort of posts. Sponsors have any requirements, we want this story, we want that story, we want this post. We want this
Follow
outreach.
us on Instagram, guys.
Yeah. You want to say the handle?
Yes, it's at AUSMUN. You should find it. Follow us, guys. Yes, continue, Sanjana.
So with media, because there is a lot of, like we give them a lot of content, it's usually like, oh, to make it pretty, make it more presentable. So media usually becomes like our very close collaborator in terms of that. So yeah, there is a lot of collaboration with other teams, but what we try to do is manage how much ever work we can on our own, because we do understand, other teams also have their own tasks, their own responsibilities, and whatever, of course, we don't have expertise in is usually what we ask for help for.
Yeah, we love the external relations team, by the way, guys. Okay, so next question. What are you most excited for on conference day?
So this year, the goal is basically to, every year the goal for ER rather is to enhance the conference experience for the delegates, because in terms of the academic aspect of the conference, it's already been taken care of by HR and research. But when it comes to ER and logistics, it's more so making sure everyone has a smooth experience, a good experience, has a lot of fun while being on campus, because at the end of the day, they are students, they are coming from different schools, different universities, and they are expecting a lot from AUSMUN. We have this is our 19th conference. This has been like 18 years of heritage that we've been bringing forth.
Amazing.
So every year the goal is to just make it much better for them. They have a specific registration fee that they pay. We try to maximize that as much as possible, give them as much as we can for that particular amount that they pay. And give them the best experience possible so that they come back every year. So yeah.
That's amazing. So one last question before we move on to the more fun ones. Describe one moment where your team really had to step up in the conference.
As we know that at the end of the day, they're all school students that come to the conference. Majority are school students. And there is a very high possibility of a conflict to break out. 2 years back or last year, a small conflict did break out, because when it comes to awards, it comes to sometimes people get disappointed. They're not as happy because they expected something, and something did happen. But I think what impressed me the most was that no one from our team lost their cool. Everyone kept their calm. Everyone was very patient with the 2-3 people who got into a conflict, and it was resolved very easily. There was no major fight that took place that would ruin the experience for everyone. The advisors were calm as well. Everyone dealt with it in a very decent manner. So I think that is where the team really stepped up.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing the external relations team this year as well.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's move on to some fun questions.
Sure.
So, if you had to switch roles with anyone else on the board, who would it be?
I think I would say logistics because
Who's the director of logistics?
my best friend Khaldoon. So I think more so because like we have very similar, not very similar, but not very similar roles. But like in terms of nature, it involves a lot of running around, a lot of talking to people, and I think I would like to see how things are from his point of view, especially because on the day of the conference is when logistics is all over the place. Like if you would have seen our meet the team reel, if you don't see us, that means everything is okay. That's what logistics tagline is. So I would like to see how it is to be in his shoes and experience that side of the conference.
We'll ask Khaldoon this question, and he has to say your name. So it has to be
Let's
both
see.
ways.
Let's see.
Let's see if he says.
Yeah.
Let's see if he says your
If
name.
he keeps the friendship or not. If he maintains the friendship or not.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. If you had to tell something to yourself when you first started AUSMUN, what would you say?
I think I would say that just keep persevering through this department because it requires a lot of patience, it requires a lot of creativity, it requires a lot of just like, okay, no problem, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I think there's so many times when you expect it to be a certain way and you know sometimes it'll not be that way at all, it'll be something so much better. True. But to be able to get to that point of so much better, you need to have that perseverance to just keep going till you get till there. So I think that is one big thing I would tell myself when I started out, that just keep persevering, just keep persevering. And I think having been organizer for 3 years and then directly being director, I think that is one thing that really kept me going.
That's amazing.
Just, yeah.
I have one more question to ask. This is a question that I personally want to know about. Who is your favorite deputy director of external relations this year?
I know this may sound very diplomatic. It may sound extremely diplomatic, but I think when I was in the process of taking my deputies, of taking the interviews, I didn't really have a like a frame in my head that this is how they should be. The only thing I looked for is, do they have the dedication and perseverance to pick up the phone and call whether a sponsor, whether a speaker, whether a vendor, whether an international delegate, that we would love to have you at AUSMUN, will you come?
Yes.
That is one thing that I looked for, and I feel in their respective fields, they all have that. In terms of Huda, she's done excellent work in outreaching to both local and international delegates, especially because we have a database, but sometimes contacts change, you get emails that bounce back, and that can be really demotivating. But she's always like, okay, no problem, I'll find you another contact. Okay, no problem, I'll call the school. Okay, no problem, this is them. With Ziad and Usaid, again, they have to be more of the companies and the more corporate people, and contacting those companies. So even with them, they're very that, oh, if this company didn't work out, no problem, we'll talk to them again. If still they don't work out, okay, no problem, we'll talk to this company. So they never come to me with a no, that it didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's usually okay, not this, no problem, we'll do this, hopefully it'll be better.
Yes.
So that's what it is for
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Sanjana.
Thank you so much, Maria,
for being here. And yeah, guys, stay tuned in for the next episode.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.